Ta-da! Well, if you want to see why we just had to take this all apart, a super simple, non-engine related problem. Keep watching. Alrighty, you are here at Steve Morse Engines, obviously. This is something that is really pretty cool. Now, we've been working on this project for a while. If you want to see the original engine buildup, go right here, down in the link, and you can see the original engine buildup with engine dyno stuff I think we had on there. Because this thing was hurt worse than I've ever seen anything hurt. It was really bizarre. But so we got it fixed. Now this is a streamliner engine. You might say, what the heck is this SpaceX looking stuff that's on here? These are all, so what is going on is we originally built this engine and it was a ProCharge engine. I said and told them after doing testing and a bunch of other stuff, said, hey, I mean, the ProCharge will make the power. Power's not the problem, but this thing's like a 2-cycle motorcycle. It is either, and it's just the nature of centrifugal. It's either it just gets into a sweet spot in efficiency in the supercharger where it just wants to take off. Well, that's not viable for something that can never spin on salt, okay? So converted us over to a big single 140 millimeter turbo. Really cool piece right there. So engine's basically the same. Like I said, you can go back and you can look at everything. So all these tanks and everything is what will be in the car. Now, the streamliner, I say car, that's loosely paraphrased, I guess, because it's got 4 wheels in it, but it's 38 foot long, right? And so this is Spencer from the garage shop. So they're doing the car, and then I'll have him explain stuff. Now, one thing that's pretty interesting is this is on methanol. Motec, 535 cubic inch Hemi. We built this, like I said, a couple years ago. We got like what, 4 engines total, I think we're gonna do?
Yeah, 4 engines.
Four engines total we're gonna do, all different sizes for different classes, and it's salt flat guy stuff. They got all sorts of weird things that they like to do. But anyways, so this is our test mule, test bed, everything that we're developing off of this to build it, pretty much build the other 3 engines after you figure out exactly how this is all working. And we're gonna be doing some really cool test procedures. Not just as much, we're going to do as much as my dyno can do, because we're not, no water brake dyno is set up to run like 5-minute long dyno pulls. It's impossible. At big horsepower. You know, your 500 horsepower stuff probably works fine, but we can't do it with, you know, something that makes 3,000 plus horsepower. So this has intercooled methanol, which is a really interesting deal. This makes all sorts of horsepower being intercooled, because you think about it, 400 to 500 degree air is what is normally in an engine that would be running on methanol like this, versus 100 degree air. That's a pretty big difference and a pretty big power difference. So, Spencer, we have, this is all Motec. Oscar is here for Motec, and he's doing the tune work and doing everything there. It's been quite a ordeal so far to get everything up and running, but that's all cool. So go through all the tanks and everything here. So this is engineered slightly different than what it is in the car, right? It's a little taller than what it's
Yeah,
in the car.
so we want to move the tanks down, because the tanks will actually be like right here, farther forward of the intercooler. But in order to make room for the dyno, we just shoved everything under to get some room in here.
Yeah, so this is intercooler tanks. So everything is self-contained here. There's no radiator, there's no fans for cooling, there's none of that other stuff. It is just, you figure out how much water it needs in order to maintain temperature through the whole run. How long is the total run, you figure?
About 60 seconds, give or take.
The whole run?
Yeah.
From start to finish?
Yeah, it's roughly 60. So
wow.
When you exit out like 450, so you're going pretty fast towards the end.
Yeah, you're going pretty fast towards the end. The last mile probably takes what?
It's
like
10 seconds.
yeah, just a couple seconds. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it has all the water it needs in order to make it pass. Then we'll hook up to our Chili Willy over here, which is just a refrigeration unit, and it cycles and cools down the tanks, and then to make the next passes. These are intercooler tanks. On the other side is engine. So each side of the engine is separate water for water pump, same tanks.
Yeah.
And
There's got one pump for each bank, and then same thing for the intercooler.
Yep.
One pump for each inlet, so we can run the core. Try to get as much water out of it.
Yep, trying to keep as cool as possible. Everything here is actually, except the engine, is actually going to stay here, because this is the dyno cart for the next engines and builds and everything. So we're going to take this engine out. Everything stays here, basically.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get the next engine program done. The next size, we figure out everything we're doing here. We'll plug in the next engine, and then it runs. Everything's all hooked up, including several tens of thousands of dollars worth of Motec system, and all this cool little. I mean, the little keypad, even though it's got little temporary tags on stuff, so everything is built into the dyno cart, permanent. It is here forever. So, anyways, we're gonna start doing some pulls on here. We've already done some stuff. You're gonna see long duration step pulls that they have calculated out of how much horsepower it needs to make, and how many speed transmission is it?
10.
10-speed transmission. How much horsepower it needs to make in each gear through each RPM from the start push off all the way out to the end. So we'll be doing some pulls where it's gonna start at like 2,000 RPM and go to like 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, and has to maintain and build X wide open throttle. This car is always at wide open throttle. From the moment it leaves, it is wide open throttle, and everything is done through power management. Wide open throttle for the driver, but the engine is doing different stuff. And control and boost and dump and valves, because it has E-gates on the exhaust side, E-gates on the compressor side.
Drive-by-wire also. Yeah.
Drive-by-wire, so everything's here to make this all work. So we're gonna be doing these really low RPM, very gradual, low horsepower pulls, because it's gotta meet X horsepower per gear. Then the next gear would be more horsepower per gear. Then the next horsepower would be more. It just keeps on climbing up, climbing up, climbing up. So let's get after it. You must have flattened out boost right up here about 7,000. Just went flat on boost, or yeah. Oh really? Okay. Yeah. But it's still not real hot here.
Yeah.
But it would be. Well, I mean, just basic math is that it's 10 degrees per pound of boost, so I mean, it's going to be 300 degrees minimum of outlet temperature there. But we still got a little bit of oil leak up there in the front. But so what we're going to do with this one is, as soon as we're done beating it to death here and trying to get all our figuring out done, so I'm going to tear it apart, go through it, freshen it, make sure everything's all right, fix anything we need to, take a look at anything we need to maintenance or update, and then I think then we'll send it back down to you guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So that was at 32 psi, and we're just Oscar's over there just manipulating the boost curve here, trying to get everything in because it's E gates only. So like I said earlier, it's E gates on the hot side and E gates on the cold side. There's probably E gates on the water side, E gates on. He's not even listening.
Who, me? Oh.
I'm just kidding. So, anyways, that's only 32 pounds of boost, so 3,300 horsepower. That what you're seeing here is, I'm 100% sure is, we have it would that amount of boost would not make that much horsepower non-intercooled, no doubt about it. So that's pretty fascinating what it's doing. How much? I don't know. What do you think? 200 horsepower worth of air, maybe?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're hearing there and that the end of the pull is it has the E gate on the compressor side instead of a conventional vacuum operated one. So it has a little bit of a latency. So the throttle is chopped, the boost and the gate is not open yet. So boost is like banging, and then the gate opens, and that's where you hear this. So just FYI.
Did that hit the rev limiter, or did you let off of it?
I thought it sounded like a rev limiter.
That's what I thought, but I thought you had it at 85. RPM spiked like 9600.
Oh, it did. Okay.
So
I didn't hear it over rev. I thought it just hit. I think did it.
could have lost the sync.
It lost. Yeah. So it's gonna say lose sync and thought it was. Or, yeah. See now that's a little more of what I would figure it would be looking like.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. Yeah. That looks great. It's not. Heat's not down into the top ring here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Looks nice. Yeah. So did plug read? Plug reads look good. I'm sorry we didn't talk about this. So looks like what happened is it just picked up a sinking error, and when it picked up the sinking error, it false triggers it, thought it was at 9600, which hit the rev limiter, but it did not hit the rev limiter because the dyno was holding it fine. There's no problem there. It was just a sink error. Found it in there. So Oscar hits some keys and hits the enter button and it fixes it. I don't know what's going on.
Let's make sure that crank sensor didn't loosen up. Maybe let's check the gap.
Well, yeah, okay. We'll go in here and just see if it has if the crank sensor is loosened up or something's happened to it.
That's a feeling
tight. Check our gap. It's super tight, as in it's moved its way down, so we just need to move it back up.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a pair of pliers.
I made less boost there, 34.
So we were on a mission right there. It was going good, and then right up at the top, it hit a couple things. Changed the injector end angle, which made it really rich, and so it laid over. And then when it shut, and it went burp, and it shut off up there, it locked up the cam sink. This is the cam sink that drives the oil pump, and I'll show you that real quick. So this is the cam sink that no longer turns by evidence of the missing teeth. And it welded itself all together up here. So that's why she's no longer starting, which is actually a handy thing because you have to be paying attention because it also turns the oil pump. So if it starts up and sits there running, we never look at the oil pressure. I'm sure you get oil safety in it.
Yeah.
It just shuts off. Yeah, I've run it without having one of those. It wasn't all that smart an idea. So, anyways, we're gonna change this cam sink so we can move back to it. You're probably asking, "Oh, are you gonna tear this engine all apart to clean that out?" Yes, we are. Are we gonna do it right now? No, we're not, because trying not to sound too overly hillbilly on the whole deal. But I mean, we're like, it's just gonna pick it up. It's probably already picked it up and already run it through the pump, so it really doesn't matter. It's just gonna run it into the pre-filter at worst case scenario.
We'll return and a pre-filter also. So it's got 2 filters to go through before it gets back. So
Oh, we got a pre-filter.
there's there's 2 filters. A feed
Yeah,
and a return,
so it's gonna pick it up, and I forgot about the pre-filter.
yeah. Yeah,
And then, yeah, so it's just gonna pick it up on the filters. The camshaft it's a tool S7 tool steel, so it's harder than woodpecker lips.
I reckon so.
All right, so we're gonna put this in and should be able to get it going again. So, turns out we are gonna take this apart and have to fix it, and we're a little screwed because it totally effed up this camshaft, because that is, if you can see down there, it actually, the tool steel cam, it actually did break the tooth off of it. So there is a missing tooth and a half on cam gear. So it doesn't matter. We put a new cam sink in it and just gonna kill it pretty much instantaneously. So crap. I think we were making progress. I mean, it makes great power for the boost it was making. We were starting to sneak up on it, starting to figure that out, and just apparently, you know, I mean, what's that thing is that cam sink is locked up, because obviously it's supposed to turn like that, not be locked up. So it locked the cam sink up, stopped the spinning right at the end of the pull, and broke the cam. So I'm gonna have to fix that. It's gonna put a little delay in this because I need to get another camshaft ground up, so I need to think about that for a minute. And then, but hey, this is good. That's not good. The rest of it's good. You gotta sit. Sit. You gotta sit. All right. So you might remember from the first commercial that the Lincoln Naturals dog treats. They did this cool Dewey bag with Turbo Dewey treat. Isn't that cool? Super nice. Even though that's thing. Anyways, you might remember that I was eating these things. Yeah, I know. And then the guys over at Lincoln Naturals, he calls me up and he says, "You know, that chicken's not fully cooked." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." Says, "I mean," he goes, "you're gonna be all right, but you know, it's not fully cooked." I go, "No, look, man, it's white. It tastes just like boiled chicken." And he goes, "No, put it in water. It'll rehydrate and you'll see." Huh. Yep. That's pink freaking chicken. Let me tell you. So anyways, single ingredient, super good. Go use. I'm helping these guys out, and they're helping us out by giving us good food for Dewey, who's trying to get into the bag. What are you doing?
I was getting the scrappy drop.
Oh, you're getting the scrap that I dropped. And then I'm actually gonna, can you sit? I'm actually going to ask them if they could maybe add like Benadryl or something to the dog food, because now he eats all this food and he's on fire all the time. He's just like Must be feeling better or something. His coat's looking better, all this other stuff. But we gotta calm this dog down because he's a dog on a mission, isn't he?
You have too much energy.
He's too much energy. So I'm just kidding about that, but maybe you could have a little bit of a calmer effect. So go down to the link below, go to Lincoln Naturals, use Turbo Dewey for your discount code, and they're going to give you 15% off of the big bags of food, which when you break it all down and how much they eat and what it all is doing, I think it's a good deal. It's a bargain. And if you're going to be eating these chicken chunk treats for yourself, you're going to be okay. I'm okay. But don't put them in water because it'll freak you out. Just eat them the way they come out of the bag. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so we're starting to tear this thing apart, and I'm going to show you how we take the camshaft out, show you all that stuff. We're going to take the turbo off because I think we probably hurt the turbo ourselves. A little bit of damage. I don't think sending that intake pulse or that boost spike back through the turbo is all that great for it. Oh, and since we got to take this off anyways, just send it in and have them Hearts look at it because it's going to take me a little bit to get this camshaft. So anyways, before we do that, before I start tearing this apart, you've got to check out something we just saw on the video of why we put the got the Naked Duck hood scoop off, which is actually what's in the car, and put it on the bell. You got to check this out. All right, you just saw the air inlet sucking closed. And I thought, oh, sweet. Let's do this the hillbilly method, the non-engineering way. Engineer, non-engineer.
Oh, don't say that.
Practical engineer. But it's like, okay, let's just see. So that thing basically crushed about, like a quarter inch. I mean, that's like 50 or 60 pounds of, how would you say that? Is that how? It's sucking so hard on it, it actually
that much vacuum on it. It
sucks that shut.
Yeah.
So, and it's
more.
It takes 50, 60 pounds in order to move that far.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. That's suction from the turbo. Crazy. So then we put the bell on it. So we currently have the boost gate, which is acting as the blow-off valve. Just had some wrong parameters in there, and he's working on parameters to make it open up even faster because it's spiking boost at the end, which sends a pulse back through the turbo, which knocks the bell off of it. So that's why the bell comes off. That's getting fixed. Oscar's working on that. But all to nothing because the cam sync put us out of business. So now we're just looking at everything. And I got to take it apart and get the camshaft out of it. So we're going to do that right now. Yeah, this is the inlet bell. And then he's using a mass airflow sensor as temperature and
A vacuum. Yeah.
EMAP.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it EMAP or
TMAP?
TMAP. TMAP.
Which is kind of hard to read on this one because it's so open. That one it reads a lot better.
Yeah, this one reads better because it's right here, way closer. So yeah, pretty fascinating how hard that sucked that shut. I know that it doesn't want to take air over a sharp radius, so that's why I wanted to get rid of it. And when Spencer said, "Oh, I see that thing closing," I thought, "This freaking can't see for crap. He needs his freaking glasses or something. There's no way it's sucking that shut." But no, it is. Like, dang, that's pretty amazing. Let's get back into tearing this thing apart. By the way, I love this impact. They have a bigger one that is this is like the mid-frame deal. It is a Mac Daddy deal with, it has more bells and whistles on it than I know what to do with. But this is one sweet half-inch drive impact. And they got a promotion going on it right now. So any of you guys on a Snap-on truck, go to your local guy and say, "Hey, you got something going on." You can see their little flyer down below. We'll put a link to it, but this is a bad boy deal.
Here, here.
Now on these rockers, what you have to do, because they're all on one shaft, it's kind of a hassle, but they make it reasonably good. Let me see if this is gonna work correct. Do it the way I don't like to normally do stuff, which is loosening that rocker arm adjuster. Does it go across? Yes, it does. Loosen the adjuster, slide it over, take the push rod out. As soon as you get a pair of pliers or something, it's going to take it out. There we go. Bing. Then, boom. Now, this is the way you got to put it together, too.
Does this mean you gotta reset the lash every single time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so when you put this all together, you got to reset the lash, which I'm not. It just is what it is. So, we'll put that in order here. There's no way of. You can't take this whole stand off at one time. You're just crazy to try doing that because you don't have to. Both rockers are loose. You got to make sure they're loose. You can't do it while they're up. And I'm basically feeling it as I'm taking it apart. I should have grabbed this one for lighters. There you go. All right. Something you might think is interesting. See that handy dandy little jet right there? That little jet right there? Valve spring oiler. You see any handy dandy jet down here for oil? No. You know why? Because there's so much freaking oil down here, it gets oil on its own. So it don't need to have a sprayer. So this is oil comes up from the main back here, main lifter. I'm sorry, off the lifter galley, comes up and oils this rocker arm shaft. Or, I'm sorry. Yes, that oils the spring oiler and oils, I believe, the shaft. I gotta remember about that because it's been a while. Might not oil the shafts, but the shafts are pressurized fed spring oilers on there. Now, you need to do that on an engine like this because up here is just doesn't have a good oil bath. Because we oil the shafts and oil the spring, this is not a through push rod oiling system. So like my SMXs are a through push rod oil. So oil actually is pressure fed through the lifter, pressure feeds the rocker and everything up through that way. This actually has an oil passage that pressure feeds the rocker through here and sprays oil on the cup, sprays oil on the spring, has oil flailing around all over the place. Bada bing, bada boom, oiled up. I first did this, don't I? That is the oil slot right there. It's hard to, probably can't see it on camera, but that's where the oil's all coming from. Cover it up, no more. But it oils through the rocker arm up to the tip too. All the rockers are all unloaded. Now, get the rocker arms off as one whole assembly. Whee! Bing. All right. Then we can see, yeah, my bad. That is a oil feed hole, oil feed hole, oil feed hole. Yeah, so all of these are oil feed holes. And I think it crosses over internally right there. So that is a oil galley hole that goes all the way through this bridge over to the other side I'm sorry, oils from here up to the shaft, goes over this way. That's what the whole crossover hole is on each side, and then feeds the exhaust rockers. So if you look at the rocker arm, okay, I'll show you that little slot. There you go, slot, slot. That is the oil pressure hole for the oil. and then oil, 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 oil. This is our Torrington thrust bearing. For this, can you hand me that?
Yeah, put that back on there.
Yep. And
Oh,
was there
this
2
is-
shims on there?
Yeah, it's 2. There's one goes on both.
Yeah, the one goes on both sides. There you go. Yeah, there you go. All right. So that is our fuel pump drive off the camshaft. When we're done rolling this over, I'll just roll it over to where I want it and then mark it. And that's a little bit more of a hassle. Not the end of the world. So you need an aimer on that.
I do. You got one? One?
An aimer?
Yeah, laser. Want laser?
No, an aimer. Oh, yeah, it's nice little laser. Yeah.
You got a laser?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, UV
And
light?
UV light.
This is like my favorite thing.
This could be a steam. Hey, if you guys are interested in a light, and we'll like tag it up, is
There you go.
that's really good. You can
Oh.
you can actually buy that one. I was actually gonna show it and sell my own version.
You want to hold it like this?
So there you go. I'll probably, if you guys are interested, we might just do something like that. It'd be kind of cool. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's slightly more complicated. I gotta think how I want to do this. So, any which way or shape, form about it, I got to do a. It's just how I have to redegree the new camshaft in it. So, there's no easy way because I have to take the top or take the top gear off. If I just put because the camshaft indexes in 11 different positions, so I could mark it right now and it don't mean anything because that's not where the camshaft is in index. So I just have to redegree the whole thing, and it's not a big deal. Just is what it is. I was thinking it'd be an easy way, like, oh, I'll just put a mark right here and take it out and you put the camshaft gear on the other camshaft and you put it right in. No, that's not the way it works. It's not keyed. It's not indexed. You have to key and index it yourself with 11 different positions. So anyways, so we'll take that out. So actually, we will just be taking, we'll just take the gear off of it. It'll be easier. But I don't want to do that until we obviously have to have all the rockers off of it.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? Because we're going to take this camshaft out, I have to get all the lifters out of it.
Mm-hmm. We got to pull the intake manifold off.
Well, it was leaking a little bit of oil anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a fix.
It's a fix. So we're going to fix that. So let's get all that stuff out of the way. Doesn't look like looks like we'll just have to unplug all the injectors. Because I don't think unless he has it solely on its own, he might. Maybe it is on its own harness. The injector harness.
Well, I believe it was a left and right bank harness. You unplug it right here.
Well, should be able to, yeah. So see what we got to do there to get that all working right. Looking good, looking good. Looking for springs that are anything bad, but we're not spinning this thing high enough RPM for it to get hurt. But all right, let me go over to the other side. If you want to get on this side and start disconnecting electronics so we can take this intake manifold off. I think we got to get rid of our little water tank and all this other bull.
Yeah, lean that.
Once you figure out how far to turn it, it actually isn't that hard. Then you just do exactly that. It's pretty slick. Actually, I just leave all the push rods in it because they're not in the way of anything. Do this real quick. Figuring out the faster way of doing everything. Hold on, there you go.
I'll do.
All right. So this is already bled all the way down, but like when we first took the push rods out of it, the bottom 3 inches of the push rod was covered in oil. I think it just continues to drip down because it'll go through there and it'll go a little bit through that hole because they don't have 100% blocked off. You can see it's just you can see it's actually running down right there.
Yep.
That's why it cycles a little bit and then obviously goes up there. So we'll just take the lifters out. These are a centered tie bar 937 lifter. Or I'm sorry, 1-inch lifter. These are 1-inch lifters. That means 1-inch diameter. All that stuff looks nice. Yep. Looks good. That'll bleed down. Oh heck, we'll get the camshaft out of this right now. So since I don't care where the gear is at, let me spin this off. Don't need the big Mac Daddy to take those bolts out. But you need the right size socket.
I see how that is.
Ta-da! So we got the camshaft out. Obviously, just saw that. Very surprised that locking up that darn cam sync right here. It didn't lock up the bearing, so I just because this is nice. This is all the whole bearing assembly. Something happened here, so I'm gonna tear this the rest of the way apart and try to figure out exactly what happened. Never had one of these fail before, so this is what it's supposed to do. But you can see something moved, and maybe it went the other way. It went down, but it stops here. Shoot, I don't know. I'm gonna think about that, and I'm gonna measure some stuff up because maybe. I think I might actually see what's going on. Well, I'll talk about that later after when we're putting it together because I'm gonna measure this all up. So you're seeing what all happens to this thing. So I got the camshaft out. Unfortunately, this is not a camshaft that I have another core for. So I'll call up Noonan, our buddies over at Noonan. I'm sure they got a camshaft core for it. And then I'll have it ground to mine, and or if we don't have a camshaft core, we will have to have one custom made, which I'll have it made by the same guys that make my SMX custom cores. So anyways, now I think we're done because this is in limbo until I get that, because can't turn the cam sync, you can't make spark. You also can't turn the cam sync on this, and you can't turn the oil pump. So no oil pump, no cam sync, no run, no oil pressure. Obviously, gotta fix it. So anyways, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the kind of content we got going on here. If you do, man, make sure you tell other people so we can up our video count. It would be great. So we're trying to teach you guys stuff and show you good things, and everything from, you know, like what happens on something simple like this. Tune-up information. There's been a lot going on with this thing. It's really quite fascinating. And I can go over stuff. And if you got questions, leave your questions down below, or even your comments. And I'll pick out my favorite one. And I can't read all of them, so I'm probably not going to, if I miss yours, sorry. But leave it for us, and I'll make sure to answer it in the next video on Thursday. So I'm Steve Morris. Have a great day.